Hey, good morning. It's Mark here with another morning rant. It's 5:06. Pretty good, pretty good. Want to get into something that happened a couple of days ago. Can I believe what I heard? We all know that COVID vaccinations are out. If you want the shot, you can go get the shot. Most people who are against the shot are calling it the jab. I'm not going to get the jab. I have freedom of speech, freedom to assembly, freedom of my body, freedom to my body. Give me a second. Freedom to do what I want to do with my body. So, if I choose to get this jab, it's up to me. If I choose to let my body fight off COVID, it's up to me. Layla Ali, Layla Ali, Muhammad Ali's daughter, got destroyed on Twitter over the weekend because she was saying leave it up to God and it's your choice, you do you, and that's fine. You know, you can do you, but when you have a skeptical black community afraid to get these shots, and because of the history that the United States put black Americans through, and your fame, your platform is making it harder for these people to decide whether or not to get this shot, is detriment to the black community. So she got slammed on Twitter, or they call it Black Twitter. Let me show you Texas. Let me stop. Florida is bad when it comes to shots. Texas is bad when it comes to shots. COVID cases are spiking in Florida, Alabama, and Texas. Let's listen to Fox Entertainment and Texas officials talk about the reason why Texas is experiencing such a spike in COVID cases. You're not going to believe this.
Spreading, particularly most of the numbers are with the unvaccinated, and the Democrats like to blame Republicans on that. Well, the biggest group in most states are African Americans who have not been vaccinated. And the last time I checked...
Let me rewind that. I want you to hear.
COVID is spreading, particularly most of the numbers are with the unvaccinated, and the Democrats like to blame Republicans on that. Well, the biggest group in most states are African Americans who have not been vaccinated. And the last time I checked, over 90% of them vote for Democrats in their major cities and major counties.
I'm going to let you listen to the brother with the Jackson State shirt on in a minute. But so that's what they're doing in Texas now. They're saying that cases are spiking, yes. COVID is a problem, yes. But who is causing the problem? Black folk. First of all, he equated black folk with Democrats. And that's not necessarily the case. There are conservative black folk out there. There are liberal black folk out there. There are independent black folk out there. Just because blacks vote overwhelmingly for Democrats doesn't necessarily mean that all Democrats are liberal or progressive. Second, the problem with COVID now is African Americans. It's you. You're the problem. The reason why Texas is so hard up on these cases is because of you, black man, black woman. I want you to listen to this brother here.
Don, have at it.
I'm gonna do my best to have at it without cussing, B. Will. So, first of all, African Americans are about 13% of the population in Texas. So statistically, if there is a COVID spread, which apparently there is in Texas, apparently according to the lieutenant governor, it has nothing to do with failure to mask up or anti-mask policies, but it has something to do with black folks who are a substantial minority of the population, well behind white folks and well behind Latinos. in the state. So you see how statistics lie here. Second of all, it's easy to spout such statistics without pointing out a very real and very painful history of the United States, the American medical system intentionally using black bodies as essentially guinea pigs and lab rats. Of course, we've heard the terms Tuskegee, but we're talking about forced sterilization and eugenics and brain experiments throughout the American South. We're talking about black maternal health, in which African American women's pain complaints are still not taken seriously, and you see black maternal mortality at a substantially higher rate than their white counterparts. So when we're talking about African American vaccine hesitancy, and yes, we are substantially behind white counterparts in terms of vaccine adoption, that is because it doesn't turn off overnight. A very real and very recent history of American medical malfeasance, intentional and sometimes just neglectful malfeasance toward black bodies, it doesn't turn off just because we're trying to save ourselves from a global pandemic. So if Dan Patrick had any sense, he would be using his platform as an elected leader in the state of Texas to invest in communications and resources and talking to and defeating disinformation in African-American communities instead of blaming the miner's canary. Of course, that's a literary reference, which he probably wouldn't understand. But ultimately, this is the same guy who told us we should sacrifice our grandmothers and grandfathers because being old and dying in a pandemic ain't the worst thing. He said that just a year ago. So Dan Patrick is a moron, and in the words of my dad, he could probably get somewhere and sit his ass down.
Amen, brother. Do I need to say anything? Because I think he put it well. I don't need to say anything. So we'll leave it at that. Let me go. Is it time for me to go to work yet? Because, as I said, as he said, black folk have a hesitancy when it comes to the government providing medication. That's why black folk don't get, on a large scale, black folk rarely get the flu shot. Black folks are skeptical about the government coming to their neighborhoods and giving them anything and saying, we're here to help. I was not going to do this. Now, I maybe can't find it. I might not be able to find it, but I talked about it before. Yeah, this is a crude video of it. But I'll show it anyway. See.
Federal Health Department, in conjunction with the Center for Minority Control, is here today with complimentary flu shots. Complimentary means free. Free needles? God is good. Hey, whoa. What the hell, Hop, are you people doing? Have you forgotten all your conspiracy learning? Listen, the government uses projects to test all kinds of poisons. Syphilis, crack, and midshipmen. Oh, those chitlins made me mix sick. Now you see what I'm talking about.
Hold on, everybody. This is a government of the people, by the people, and for the people. And we, the people. I'm sure there's nothing to fear.
Thank you, Mrs. Stubbs.
How do you know my name?
Because we're your friend. Now come on over here and drop your pants.
No, Muriel, it's a trick.
It's just a flu shot. Don't listen to that fool.
Aha! Flu, F-L-U. Fool, F-U-L. Coincidence? I don't think so. Come on, people. Let's tell them they can take their flu shot and shove them up their arsenio.
Yeah, just leave me my Medicare, Medicaid, food stamps, and Social Security, and I'll be fine with no help from nobody.
That's a crude video of the PJs, but that was intended to be a joke. But that's how black folk feel about the government saying, "Hey, we're here." Now, the old lady, I can't remember her name, but that character was played by Janae Dubois from Good Times. She said, give me my health care, my welfare, my food stamps, give me all my government assistance, but and I'll be happy with no help from the government because they don't equate. But that's how black folk feel. And you saw the video. Like, I apologize for the crudeness of it, but it was a quick video just to show you guys how black folk feel about getting flu shots, how black folk feel about getting this COVID shot. And there is some apprehension out there. But just like brother said, you should go out and give information. You should go out and say, because that lieutenant governor, and I didn't know that was the lieutenant governor, but excuse me, that lieutenant governor said last year that it's okay for you not to get the flu shot, that old people need to die anyway and all this other stuff. He said that last year. So here we are. Now you're upset. On one hand, you got Fox News and Republicans saying it's your body, do what you want, you don't have to get the flu shot. On the other hand, they're saying the reason why no one's getting the flu shot is because black folk are not getting the flu shot. Well, look at what you're doing. You're saying that you don't have to get it. You got it, but you don't have to get it. But then on the other hand, you're saying we have a real problem in this country. We need to get the shot. So you're talking out of both sides of your mouth. Fox buildings, the buildings that Fox have their shows in, you have to show proof of vaccination. You can't go in without getting the vaccine shot. They have passports and everything. All the stuff that their Fox News people are arguing against, they have. Because you can't tell a private company what to do with their buildings. And that's the problem. I just saw on TikTok a couple of days ago, this lady went into a bank and the bank said, you got to mask up. And the lady was like, no, I'm not masking up. This is a free country. I can do what I want. No, you can do what you want outside this building. Once you come into this building, this is a private business. We don't want you in here without a flu shot. And so the police was like, yeah, she was just talking a noise. And the police was like, yeah, you can do that outside. And she was like, no. So he's like, look, ma'am, I'm going to arrest you. Put on a mask or get out. And she got arrested. And she was like, is anybody going to help me? And they were like, no. Banks, stores, venues, anywhere outside is a private business. If you go to a post office or a military base or something like that, those are public interests. Those are public buildings. And in the public, you can do what you want. The government can't. If you're in a public space, it's public. It's open to the public. But once you walk into a place like Walmart or something like that, that's private. Those are private companies. Those are private businesses. They say no shoes, no shirt, no service. They can say no vaccine, no service. Show your ID. Show your proof. Airlines can say we want to make sure that our airlines our planes are vaccine 100% vaccinated. A cruise line just won a lawsuit at the Supreme Court level that said you cannot get on our cruise ships without being vaccinated. So they have passport cards, whatever you want to call them. It's out there. So guess what? Pretty soon, the NFL is saying, hey, you cannot play football, and if a certain number of your team is not vaccinated, you will forfeit the game. They want 100% vaccination amongst their players. There's a quarterback, some obscure quarterback was like, you can't tell me what to do. Well, cool. You don't get a game check. Go sit your ass down. And if a certain amount of people do not get the vaccination, a team can forfeit a win, or a team can forfeit a game. I say all that to say this. The lieutenant governor of Texas, people, is blaming black folk for Texas problems. And this is what they do. This is what they do. It's not our fault. Blame them. Instead of educating people, instead of trying to get the word out to say, go get your shot, go get vaccinated, they're telling people not to get vaccinated. They're telling people that the shot don't work. And then they get upset with don't nobody go get the shot. And they blame black folk. This is what they do. when they did the census, the brother was like 13% of Texas is black. Okay, but 12.1% or 12.6%, somewhere up in there, 12% of Americans are African American. 12% of this country, 12% of the entire country is African American. 12%. But what did Ronald Reagan do? Ronald Reagan put, in the 80s, he put this lady on TV and called her a welfare queen, and it was a black woman. So in this country, they assumed that all people on welfare were African American people, when African Americans make up 12% of this country. So when you hear about abortion rates, when you hear about welfare and things like that, you automatically assume African American when that's not the case. Most people in this country that are on welfare, that are on food stamps, are white people. White people make up 60% of this country. 60.1 to be exact. It went down a lot, but there's still over 50% of this country is white. But when you hear food stamps, when you hear welfare, what do you immediately go? Your mind goes to black folk. That's what he's trying to do. It's not our problem. It's black folk that's the problem. Let me get up out of here, people. It's Monday. Got a surprise for you. I'm waiting on something to happen. I'm waiting on something to happen. A lot of things are already in motion. A lot of gears are already working and turning. But again, I'm waiting on something to come to me, because I'm going to show you guys what it is, and then I'm going to announce what I have to announce. But until then, you guys have a great Monday. Have a great week. I will see you guys on the next one. I'm out. Y'all take care.